Square's stock is down over 50% from its all-time highs, which begs the question, is now a good time to invest in this company? Well, that is the topic of this video today. We're going to talk about Square, aka Block, that's the new corporate name. We're going to talk about the history and kind of what's going on with this stock. And at the end, I'm going to share my experience with the company and if I personally own Square, and maybe you should consider owning it as well. Let's dive right in. Hey, welcome back. I am so glad you found my channel. My name is Joshua. Here we talk about all things personal finance and investing. I built and sold a tech company which taught me a ton about money and finance. And now I'm really focusing on investing and trying to share a lot of those lessons with you guys as I learn them. And if that sounds interesting, if that sounds helpful, please consider hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. It's totally free. It takes 2 seconds. It helps me tremendously getting this message and these videos out to people that could use them. And don't forget, in the description, there is a link where you can sign up for Coinbase. Doing so, you will get free Bitcoin just for signing up. You're going to be happy that you did. It's a great product. It's a great company. All right, so as you may know, Square is a digital payments and financial services company. I'm sure that most of you have interacted with Square at some point. Typically, you'd see this at a coffee shop or small business where you're able to have this wonderful checkout experience, swiping your card or paying with Apple Pay. Now, the company was founded in 2009 by Jack Dorsey. The name may ring a bell. That is Jack from Twitter. So this guy is obviously very talented, very smart, founding $2 billion publicly traded companies. And Square was really focused more on this finance sector. And I think it's been really interesting to see how they've grown over the years. So Square went public in 2015. They currently have a market cap of about $64 billion. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, the stock is actually down 50% plus just over the last year or so. And it's trading at about $143 per share right now. Okay, so what in the world's going on? Why is there such a drop in this company that we've all used and seems to be doing pretty well? Well, there's a lot of selling pressure on a lot of these tech names. You can see that outside of things like Apple and Amazon and some of these big mega cap stocks, a lot of the technology names have been just getting crushed over the last handful of months. The reason for that is there's a lot of fear around inflation, a lot of fear around the Fed hiking these interest rates here in 2022. They've already signaled that is going to happen. Many people and economists believe there could be as many as 3 rate hikes this year. And what that really means is companies that need access to more capital to fuel their growth may have a harder time. It may be more expensive to do so. And typically that can slow growth in these names like Square. More recently, there's been these analysts that have downgraded the stock. They're referencing, Square may have some higher pricing relative to other competitors in the space. The competitors themselves are concerned with just their ability to keep getting market share, and their lack of perhaps more international business is something that they've cited. And so for all those reasons, Square has felt a lot of that in the stock price here in the last year. If we look at something like Square's PE ratio, even at these levels, these prices, it's still about 141, where you could take a company like Coinbase, they're at about 17. And so these high growth stocks with really high PE ratios, those are the ones we've seen selling off pretty much across the board, names even like PayPal. Okay, but should you buy this stock? Well, I think it's important to talk about the company and the future. First, I think it's really important to acknowledge that Square has a great set of products and services. I've personally used these over my business career. Things like Square Invoicing, sending invoices out to my clients. I've actually used Square Capital, which is basically their financing department. We got access to some capital to fund equipment as we were growing. That was an awesome experience. And then even Square Payroll. Yes, we paid our employees through their payroll processing system. So I've used all those products. You actually may have used Cash App. It's very easy to send and receive money instantly from your friends. And so that whole financial focus and not even getting into things like the POS process at restaurants and other businesses, but just they have so many amazing tools. I think that and the brand recognition from things like their actual Square hardware device is something that has a lot of market penetration. The other really important thing to think about with Square and the future of this company is actually the news that just came out. Jack stepped down from Twitter and he's now focusing on Square, but actually it's a company entity now called Block. So there was a name change to that corporate entity that really owns all of these different businesses, Square being one of them. And so if you think about that, I get really excited because Jack is obviously brilliant. You know, he's been, love the guy or hate the guy, he has changed the world in multiple ways, from social media and the information that's flowing through Twitter, and then from Square, really the payments and the financial innovation that has happened. And so to have him focused in one area, for me, is really exciting. Now, Block Inc. really encompasses Square, and then companies like Tidal, Cash App, and then this other company which is called TBD 545-66975. Yeah. So that's basically this decentralized blockchain developer tools platform that they are investing in. And there's no mystery here that Jack is a huge proponent of Bitcoin and blockchain technology. I mean, it's like his bio on Twitter is just Bitcoin. Out of all the things he could put, that is what he chooses to focus on. And this also is reflected in his actions at Square. They have over 8,000 Bitcoin that they own, which is just incredible. And so I think that foresight and that focus on what's next in finance, what's next in payments, is really going to set the stage for the next 5 years or so of what Block is going to do. And one more, I always throw this out there, but Kathy Wood, you know, she is a big investor in Square. She really believes in the company, and she's kind of that contrarian in terms of loading up while everyone else is downgrading and selling. You know, and she might be proven wrong. Right now, it kind of looks like that's been the case, but you have to remember, she has a 5-year time horizon for these bets. And so someone like myself, you know, I also have a very long time horizon as an investor, being in my 30s. And so something like Square is maybe worth betting on. All right, so the question is, do I own the stock? Well, I have to take you all the way back to 2015. I purchased, I think, 3 total shares, and I did that somewhere around the $13 price range. And part of my motivation was 2 developers that I had hired that were on my team at my company. They ended up working at Square. They moved out to San Francisco, and they got, you know, awesome jobs. They're still there, by the way. And so I thought, man, I know how talented these guys are. Maybe I should buy a few shares of Square. And this was well before I was really like a big investor by any means. So you can see I kind of dipped my toe. And then what's crazy is I actually tripled my money by the time I sold. I just sold these on Robinhood. This is when I was just figuring out what this whole thing was. But that was pretty cool, and it made me realize, wow, you know, certain stocks can skyrocket. If I would have held on to my shares, or maybe bought a ton of shares back then and rode that all the way up through the highs, that would be a 2,200% return. 2,200%. I mean, and so for people I know that work there, they got stock options, they are millionaires now. You know, and that's the incredible thing about these tech growth names. They don't always go, but if you get one that does, you're going to be in really, really good shape. All right, so I obviously missed the boat on that giant rise up 2,200%, but now things have stabilized. I think that the company is mature, and this 50% pullback is significant. It's significant in terms of this $60 billion business. And so for that reason, this is a pretty good entry point, in my opinion, to get back in and to ride this next wave that I think is fueled by international growth and crypto and blockchain technology. So with that being said, I think actually this coming week I'm going to start a position. There's still plenty of room perhaps for the stock and company to continue to sell off. So I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket, but I do think I will scale in as time goes on and just it'd be a smaller position in my portfolio. As you know, I really focus on index investing, but I'm really talking in this video and a few others about some of the single stocks I own with a portion of my portfolio. All right, so the question is, do you own Square or Block? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. I respond to everybody that leaves a comment. I'd love to engage with you. If that was helpful, please consider sharing this video with a friend, subscribing to my channel. We will be back here soon with the next video. I will talk to you all later.